All right, folks, welcome back to the podcast, One Man, One Tree on the Hill. I'm your host, two-time wrestling champion, stand-up comedian, Jared Waters. This podcast is sponsored by Frontline Roofing and Restoration. If you have a roof and it needs to be inspected and needs some restoration, call Frontline Roofing and Restoration, ladies and gentlemen. Their number is 513-375-7050. And if you want to email them, it's frontline.roof@gmail.com. If you want to go to their website, it's www.frontlineroofingohio.com. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Wild Week. Wild Week, we're going to be answering these emails that you guys sent because a lot of your emails are about what happened Saturday night and emails out. A lot of questions about my friend Jenny. Oh, Jenny, she lives in Odessa, Texas, and it's really dope to talk to someone that you known. Like sometimes when you talk to people from that you haven't spoken to a long time, they unlock memories that you forgot about. And there were just plenty of times I think in life that we do, people that we went to high school with or people that we've shared memories with, um, that we just probably just click a picture and just like, oh, I guess they're doing well, instead of being like, oh man, I'm glad I have this podcast to just sit down. And a lot of my friends that went to high school with me was like, I never knew she was going through that. And the people who probably knew that she was going through that were probably her immediate close friends. And for her to be honest and share that moment about her father was amazing. So if you guys know anybody with substance abuse, contact Al-Anon. And it was good. She was always just super smart in high school, super smart. Her and her crew, super smart people there in charge of uh, the newspaper. The newspaper. I just did a podcast with my other friend, and then when I told her, Jenny was the editor, and she goes, "Oh my God, frig, what?" And then and I was yeah. So I remember when she did it, she was like our first TMZ, and that's so dope that she's in the business now, and her story about like being mentored and stuff like that. Her dating, finding a little booski, and I saw him. I don't like dropping the videos. I like only doing audio. Audio's a whole lot better. I think you focus more when you listen to a person's voice. You can get distracted by stuff like that. Very cute man, long beard, long amazing beard, and they met through Trey Songz, ladies and gentlemen, and that's dope. She doesn't want to be contacted, so so when you guys emailing me like, what is she up to now? You can follow her on Instagram. We tagged her on Instagram if you want to follow her. And just hit her up. If you're ever in Odessa, Texas, and you're going to a concert, she's probably the one that made it look so amazing. So that's my friend Jenny Von Doren. And hopefully we get some more people now. Hopefully we get some more people. It's just good talking to a friend. So just imagine when she starts having kids and they start having kids, they can realize like, my grandmother, this is her thoughts in 2020. This is how her life was. And you get that. But yeah, it's been an interesting week, wild week. uh this week, my family, we've like this whole the past week and a half, we've been praying. My grandfather, he was like been sick with COVID. I'll come back to that. And Monday, a lot of great shows on Monday. And so Monday, but Sunday I did the show. I forgot. Sunday I did the show. Eastfield Comedy Club. It was the first show inside in New York. So it was good. It was good. People socially distanced. It was cool. Show was good. And it was my friend Peter Ravello's birthday. Wished him happy birthday. And then that was a good show. And Monday we did the Classic Car Lounge. Classic Car Lounge. It's a show ran by my guys Dan Davies and Matt Pavich. Good guys, good guys. Dope show. I went there last time. Dan told me to hang out. I was hanging out last time, and we saw Ray Lewis. Like I said last time, saw Ray Lewis. But today I was on the show, so I was like, oh, freak. Today I'm going to make sure that I'm going to make Ray Lewis laugh. So it's Ray Lewis, Thomas Jones, other dude in the NFL, I forgot, but I remember their faces. And the thing about this show, what's amazing, it's in a classic car lounge, so there's nothing but Ferraris wrapped around. There's Hummers, there's Beamers, Bentleys, classic cars. And Ray Lewis is sitting to the right in like a little section, but he has the TV on, but he's not interrupting the show. He's just watching the TV with his boys, and he's listening to jokes, and he'll peep his head over if something's funny and do his head up. So Petey's on the show. Tobin Miller's on the show. That's my guy, Tobin Miller, Rosebud, me, and I forgot, but we're doing the show. Petey does well. But I know, I was like, well, I'm trying to see what Ray Lewis is laughing about, and I forgot, and I remember, I was like, oh, Ray Lewis is from Lakeland, Florida. Freak, I got to make a Florida joke, right? So I changed my setup to do a Florida joke, and I see him laughing. I see him laughing. I see Thomas Jones laughing. And then after the bit goes really well, I was like, you make me want to do a squirrel up here. And he throws his fingers up. Cool. So one of my good friends, her name is Jessica Clayton. We're freaking, that's my homie. And she's from Baltimore. So she texts her dad, Ray Lewis is here. And he writes her back, I miss him. And he writes her back, I miss him too. So me and Jessica are talking. I was like, listen, Jessica, what's going to happen is, I said, look, we're going to meet Ray Lewis. After the game, I promise you, we can't rush him right now because he's at the game watching those boys. I said, but I promise you, after the game, Ray Lewis, we'll get a chance to meet Ray Lewis and get a picture, I promise. Right? And she goes, you know, I said, I promise. So all of a sudden, show's over, everyone's chatting it up, the game's over, and Ray Lewis is leaving, right? He's leaving, and he turns, and I'm sitting in the chair, and he throws his head up. I throw my head up, and he starts walking towards me, and I said, Jessica, take out your phone, take out your phone, take out your phone. Start recording right now. She goes, what? I was like, take it out. So she records us. We fist bump, and he goes, thanks for the laughs. And I was like, no, I appreciate you, big dog. And I said, Florida boys. And then I said, hey, man, I know you got to go, but can I trouble you for a picture? He goes, sure, no problem, because he had his mask off. No disrespect, but he did. And he goes, yeah, let's step in the light. It's kind of dark out here. We're too dark. So we laugh. We share a laugh. And I was like, yeah, I appreciate what you've done for the culture. And then my friend Jessica gets a picture. And then that was the start of my week. So my dad's like, I'm hitting my dad up. I was like, yo, freak. And the thing about comics are, which is going to call back to what's happening this week. The thing about comics are, some comics don't know how to stop being comedians, right? So they're like sitting there like putting stabbing emojis and stuff like that. Did he really do it? I was like, freak, man, he was nice enough to take a picture. I'm not going to ask him, did he kill anybody? Freak, I don't care. So that was Monday night. Tuesday, I did this corporate Zoom. You know, this company hit me up like, can you do a Zoom show? I was like, sure, I'll do that one. And then after that, I went to my friend Love's show, which is cool. He does this show, you know, Hazley Street. I go down there, network a little bit, hop on that show. And then Wednesday is our day, Training Day Comedy. Training Day Comedy is a show we do every Wednesday night in Astoria Park. It's the safest park in New York City. We've never had any homeless people there. Not saying that your park isn't safe with homeless people, but I just noticed there's no homeless people there. And when we get to the park, I'm like, it's 10 o'clock at night, and we just see couples walking by, people just drinking. It's like a really chill park. So we do our show there, right there by the pools. We're out there barking, and then we're barking just to get people in, and we get a nice little crowd. And Gina Brion's on the show. Gina Brion is a wonderful stand-up comedian. She's like our OG. She's done everything. She had an HBO special. She has an Amazon special. But I met her in Long Island. She was just hanging out with her best friend, James Goff. And James does a show. And then we tell Gina about the show. And we wipe down everything because Gina just had a baby. And this is what I'm talking about hungry comedians. We see this woman walking in the park. She has her hat on, so it's hard to like recognize her a little bit. I was like, hey, free comedy show. You can bring your baby, free comedy. So just making a small joke. And she goes, oh, freak, that's Gina. And she goes, hey, yeah, where's the show at? It's up there. I said, but I don't know if you could push her stroller. And her husband goes, no problem. So she's playing with her baby. And then she goes, if I can go up early. I was like, of course, we'll get you up early. We're just going to put a comic in front of you to warm it up a little bit so you can get the best crowd. And she goes up and freaking smashes it. Just beats the piss out of this crowd. Bang, 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 bang. Just a professional. And I was like, Gina, like, we appreciate you. And, like, anytime you want to come by, you know, you got the toll road. Like, because Gina Brion is one of those comedians that is successful but will take the time to talk to you. You know, she'll never make you feel like you're beneath her. She'll make you feel like a comedian. Like, she'll just sit there and talk with you and stuff like that. So Gina did well. Daniel Vezda and Santiago, they run the show called Take It Outside Comedy. And they were on their game, man. Because usually when you're hosting a show, you can't really get out bits. You know, and they do the show 3 times a week, so it's hard. When you get repeat people coming, you want to use fresh material. But for our show, these boys were hitting. They're using the greatest hits, hitting hard. My friend Trina Alper, that's my baby, man. She freaking had a great. I told her I'll light her 8 minutes, but she did like 12. She blew the light at 12 minutes, but I was like, F it, she's having a good set, you know. And Ronnie Lordi, he does well. And my friend, his name is Derek Humphreys. He's one of the guys that I came up with, and we always talk about the business and what we see, and we always pass work to each other. and he comes. And I tell a lot of comedians, just come to the show, man. Don't worry about. Cause I was talking to this comic of mine, and I was like, "What's up, man?" He goes, "Dude, I live next to the show." I was like, "Then just come by." He goes, "I felt weird. I felt weird and awkward, like going to the show." I was like, "Dude, we're homies, man. Why can't you just come by? Just come through, man." Yeah, yeah. I was like, "Dude, man, the freak, man. We're boys. Just come by the show." I felt like it was like a cool thing. Like cool kids come to the party. I'm like, "Yo, get the f out of here with that cool kids. We're all stand up comics, man. Like if you rock with me, come by the show, support the show." Like when I'm not on a stand up show, I'll go by a show that I really want to be on and support it. I'll go early, I'll support it. If someone drops out, I'll take the spot. But it's just like, yo, I don't. We want me to freaking reach out to you? There's 3,000 comics out here, and some of the comics I don't even know if they're still in the city. So I was just, yo, just come by the show. So we do that, and it's really a good show. And my girl, her name is Carmen Nadu, and when I say she's the funniest comedian in New York City that people don't know, she hails from South Africa. Thick accent, and I think it's because she's in a relationship as well. So when comics are in love, they're a whole lot happier. But we're talking about colorism and stuff like that. And then our guy Mark Gregory closes the show. Mark Gregory is the apprentice of Dick Gregory, the iconic legend. So Mark Gregory is a freaking beast. He closed out the show. We just have a really good night. We vibe out in the park. We take donations, and we didn't really get that many donations. We pass it back to the comics when we can. And then we get to Thursday. So Thursday, what happens is Thursday we're stand up comedy shows. A lot of people. The show that I had got canceled. It was in Long Island, and I was happy because I didn't feel like going all the way out to Long Island. So I was like, all right, I can go to the city. So I go to my friend Tobin Miller's show. And Monday night, me and Tobin Miller are on the same show at the Classic Car Lounge, and I was talking to him about this comic named Jared. It's a young comedian named Jared. And he reminds me, so him and Matthew Arvella remind me of myself because they're young. They're not 23 yet. And I was young doing stand up comedy as well. And I know you're partying, you're having fun, you're making long lasting memories. But I told him, I was like, when I was young, man, I was always trying to get on. So he goes to a show. And the reason why I like young comedians is because they don't feel the pressure of disappointment because they'll just ask anybody for a spot and they don't get a spot. They're like, okay, no problem. Can't get a spot. Can I get some time? Can I get some time? And when you're a seasoned comedian, you feel bad because when you don't get time, you feel like your pride is hurt a little bit. Like, dang, maybe they don't. You're in your head. So I get to the show, and a comedian's running late. So I just happen to get there. I'm like late anyway, so I'm coming. And Jared, he goes, Jared, you want to go up? Little Jared. Little Jared goes up. I was like, hey, man, Lord, I told you it could happen. He go up a little shaky, but he gets through the set. Good set. Then dude Ian Finance goes up, and I see Tobin still looking at his phone. He goes, oh, man, this comic's running late, and he's the last comic. Jared, can you go up? I said, that's the best thing you ever said, sir. Boom. I go up. I go Super Saiyan 2, not 3, Super Saiyan 2, then I go to 4, because it's if I would rank the shows, I think Tobin Miller has one of the best shows in the pandemic. He has 120 people in the park, and they're spread out. Everyone's socially distanced, and everyone's laughing. He got lights and speakers. Yeah, my show is more. My show is for the. My show is more for like families, because everyone that come is like a family person. Someone's like a single man, or we're getting like random couples are in the park. But this one is just like young people trying to have a good time, entrepreneurs and stuff like that. So I do really well. I want to do well in front of this comedian. And then as I do that, I get the news that my grandfather passed away, right? And I'm not heartbroken. It's sad, you know what I mean? I'm checking in on my mother. I'm checking in on my cousins and stuff like that, and my uncles. They're very sad. But it was kind of because he dealt with COVID. So my grandfather caught COVID, uh, and he avoided all of the stuff. He's a bishop, so he's interacting with people. He wears his mask. He caught COVID, but he's in his 80s. When you're in your 80s, it's that type of virus. It affects the elder people, and he gets sick, and he does better, and then the nurse asks him, like, do you want anything? And this is him coming out of his like conscious state, and he goes, I want to plant seeds. I just want to get outside and plant seeds. And some people say seeds are like a symbolism of like planting new plants. You know what I mean? Of the seeds that you planted throughout your life. And then he goes to a ventilator, and our cousins, we get on a Zoom call, and everybody's effed up. My mom's praying, but my mom, you can tell she's sad. And because my grandfather, he was him and my grandmother, they adopted a lot of kids, like tons of kids. So they gave kids a place to stay that didn't have like any place to stay. They had like pretty much a foster care home. So he has kids, and then he has like more kids spread out. So my cousins, these are cousins that are leaving from different households and stuff like that. And my uncles are from like different households, so they need that's their world, and I get it. But sometimes I think as a man, I'm looking at him. And I was like, man, when you know you're going to heaven, dog, nothing is. This world is beneath you. You served, you gave your life to servitude and everything else. And I was like, man, you're great. So I prepared myself for it. A little sad, like being on the train and stuff like that. But I was like, well, I got to finish the show. Actually, I did the show before. I got the news before the comedy show, and I was like, F it, I'm about to get up and do stand up. Because, freak, what am I going to do? I can't stay home. Oh, I'm going to stay home and be sad? Like, who wants to hear that? His job on earth was to preach the gospel. My job is to make people laugh. Two different types of ministry. You know what I mean? Laughter is like a good dose of medicine, and that's what I'm called to earth to do, so I'm doing that. So it's good. So I'm chatting up my family and my cousin and stuff like that. They're doing okay. So I just streamed the funeral, and God bless. I just think I have some good memories. I have some memories of him as I'm coming to North Carolina. I remember I was driving through North Carolina to get to New York, and I asked him, I said, I got some room in New York City if you want to come, because he's asked me why I'm moving to New York. I said, to be a stand-up comedian. I was like, I already am one, but I want to be a bigger and better one. And he goes, okay. I said, I got some room in my car. You want to come with me? He said, oh, no. I'm a country boy at that. This is it right here.
No, 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 no. Too much for you? Too much for me.
Too much for me.
Country boy now. Country boy by heart. Country boy now. In a corner at that. New York City.
Now I go, hey, no. A country boy at that. So he used to tell her this. What's up, Pete? Hey, Pete. What's up, Snapperjacker? What's up with you, Snapperjacker? Okay, what's up, Big Shot? What's up with you, boy? He was like that. So he's a bishop. So, all the time, like, people always calling you with their problems. Pray for me this, pray for me that, pray for me this, pray for me that. And he married my grandmother when he was 16 years old. They've been in love for over 61 years. And I remember they had their renewal of their vows on their 50th anniversary, and they had a wedding because my grandmother never had a wedding. So she got a white dress. She had a crown, beautiful dress. And he had a white suit on, and I was in the wedding. I was a groomsman. At all the grandkids, I was a groomsman. But I really think one of my cousins got in trouble, and I just happened to fit the suit. So we're out there, and he's sitting there talking. This is, I remember, vivid memory. And we're all men of different ages. He's 70-something, like 10 years ago, 70-something. And all these men are sitting there. Some are married, some are not. And he goes, you know what, boys? He goes, I married the first woman. Well, he didn't say the first woman. He goes, at 16, I got married. And at 16, I knew the girl that I was looking at was a woman I'm going to spend the rest of my life with. So I don't get nervous. I'm happy to see that woman walk down the aisle and give her something that she never got to get. And that was a wedding. And make sure you boys take care of your women and well. And make sure you treat them and give them the utmost respect. And worship the ground they walk on. He's saying that. And he goes, he looks over at me, and this is when everyone's inside this. We're in the back area of a church, and he said, the reason why got married at 16, Jared? I said, because y'all didn't have technology and you couldn't see what was out there. And everyone busts out laughing. And I think that's when he realized, like, oh, this boy's sharp. And he laughed a little bit. But it was good. Like, I had a good relationship with him. I would call my grandmother and talk to him, and we'd say hi and byes and stuff like that. But God rest his soul. And he's in heaven right now, so that's good. That was Thursday. Friday, I did this show in Dumbo, Brooklyn. The booker booked me on the show. And I love doing shows with my friends. This comic. Her name is Chanel Ali. I think she's one of the best comics in New York City, and she's dating, and I love her boyfriend as well. I love them as a couple because they support each other, and it's amazing seeing people support each other. And Chanel gave me one of the best advice when I moved to New York when I got here. And she's like, make sure you go to the places that you are welcome to, because we were like talking about like open mics one time, and she was like sitting at the knitting factory doing the knitting factory, and I was like doing open mics because I just got there, I didn't know anybody, and I was like, which? And she goes, no, go to the where you ones that you can get up and the ones that you want to work at, where you can get stuff done. Just don't go to the places where you think you should go. And I was like, oh, that was good. And I was like, F these mics. I'm just going to shows and getting on shows, you know? But we're doing a show. She's hosting a show. My set goes well. And they're giving me, offer us food, right? And as a black dude, when people offer you food, you don't want to go all the way in because they like offer me steak, and I don't want to be the first black dude to get steak. And I was like, maybe a chicken pilar for me. But I don't know what a chicken pilar is because I don't be eating stuff like that. So I got a chicken pilar, which was like a chicken. Imagine a taco, soft taco, but it's just with chicken, with lettuce, and then my friend Stefan Hightower from St. Louis. And I was like, yeah, he can have some. I don't know. It's in a pizza box. I don't know. He goes, yeah, take this back. This is trash. I was like, hey, dog, come on, we're a guest here. So we do that. Show was good. And then we go down to this other show. We go back to the tiny cupboard. We're all just hanging out, comedians just hanging out and doing. So then Saturday is the fun day where a lot of the stuff goes down. So Saturday, what happens is I'm booked on the show of Gastor. Gastor does a lot of storytelling, and he did a storytelling show called Brief and Broccoli, which is for everyone in London. So this is a London show. So it's two people tell the truth, and the other person tell a lie. So I told a lie, but it was like half a lie, half was true about the time I met Derek Jeter. So I did meet him, but I made it into a big bit. So that was really fun. That show was good. But Gastor he's a man. He's 39, I think. 40. I don't know how old he is, but he opened his home up. He had a hammock out there, and his mom was there. He has like 2 houses. I think they got like 7 houses. And he cooked food, so we all just sat down and had some comedy brunch, talked to his dad, which is an OG. He talked about, moving to the Dominican Republic, what's it like to start all over again and stuff like that. So I was like, wow, it was really good to just bond and have like a fellowship and have a fellowship with comedians and stuff. So I sit on the hammock and I just fall asleep because I'm effing tired, man. I sit on the freaking hammock and fall asleep. So then we wake back up and we head down to Make It Clap comedy show. That's by Tiana and this dude named Billy. And dope show in the park. And Jared, you want to get up? I was like, yep, there goes 2. I'm 2 for 2. And I see my girl Jessica, and Jessica goes, you should go to the show in Harlem, right? And I was like, she goes, that's a show by these comedians. They're kind of fairly new on the scene. They do a show there, but last time I had a really good time, and it was super chill. I was like, all right, well, I'll go. She goes, maybe you can get up. I was like, all right, maybe I can get up. So I look at the flyer for the show, and I notice there's a lot of big-name comics in the city, and I'm just, my guess is they're not coming, right? My guess is they're not coming because sometimes when you're a new comedian to the scene, when you get a lot of big name comics to come to your show, or when you try to get them to come, they're not going to come because they have other things, and they're probably going to go to their friend's show before you because they don't really know you and they don't know what you can bring to the table. And if the show is free, they're probably not going to go to the show because it's free. These other comics, you can still make money through this pandemic, so some comedians can't. So I go to the show, and I'm guessing. I was like, all right, some 3 people might show up, so I could probably go get a spot. So Alex Babbitt comes. Alex Babbitt, he's from HBO Max. We're all hanging out. Did Def Comedy, and it's me, Ishmael, Shadi. Well, Shadi meets us there. We just walk over. So one of the producers goes, hey, would you like to go to the comedy show? I was like, oh, we're supposed to go to your comedy show. My friend Jessica told me about it. She said, okay. And then she just starts talking to Alex Babbitt. She says, oh, yeah, I asked you to do the show. And he's all like, yeah, I can't do it. And I was like, my name is Jared Waters. And they, not dismissive, but it's just like, okay, whatever. So we're going to the show, and I noticed when I'm looking, I was like, nothing but I've noticed there's nothing but comedians there. And it's kind of a light show, and comedians aren't going to stay for the whole show. And I noticed that the producer, I saw that she was tearing up. I walked outside and knew that she was tearing up, and I asked the guy, I was like, what's wrong? She's like, kind of upset because You know, like a lot of people didn't come. A lot of people came for the first time. And this is just me, and I'm not being rude. I'm just like, sometimes when you punch up in comedy, right? I know she's new to the scene, but like sometimes when you book a show and you don't book the people that you meet at open mics or book the people that you might know, comedians support each other. So even like when I do my show, I'll give a young comic a spot because I know his friends will come and support him, and he needs that. He needs that. If you book a whole bunch of big name acts, if if you don't have a personal relationship with them, they're personally probably not going to show up because they have other stuff to do. So we might book like maybe one. But everyone else, I'm booking comics that are in the swamp with me. I'm booking comics that are like me. So everyone's emailing me about what happened with this viral, it's not viral video, but what happened with this woman that threw a chair at me. So this is what happened. The reason why I didn't put no sound on the video is because you're more interested and it gives you to create your own narrative. What do you think is going to happen? Like I don't use the microphone to like disrespect people. And what happened was a comic before me, this woman was inside a building like 2 buildings down, and she was up in the balcony, and she starts heckling this comedian. And he's really just like he's like telling her like, hey, can you go back inside? The show's only over in 5 minutes. Can you like do it like that? So I'm like, okay. So the booker, she wants to put Alex up, but Alex goes, I'm lit. I can't get up. And she goes, can you go up? I said, I can. And she goes, are you sober? I'm like, the freak. Oh, excuse me. I was like, girl, like, am I sober? Yeah, I'm sober. I was like, can you go up? I was like, I can't go up. And in my mind, I shouldn't go up on the show because, I felt like if you're in this, it's not a slight to them. It's in the comedian scene. If you're not with the scene, you wouldn't know who the comics are in the swamp. You wouldn't know these comedians. You wouldn't know who I was if you're just coming into it. If you're just looking from the outside, you're just looking at big names. But if you're in the pandemic scene, effing Jared Waters is out here every freaking night, So what happened is this she's on top of a roof and she's heckling. She's from East Europe. I don't know where she's from. Some people think Brazil. Doesn't matter where she's from. And she's drunk out of her mind. Clearly she's drunk out of her mind. She's heckling a comedian. She's heckling a comedian saying, you don't need to be here. This is a private area. You should not be here. Go home. Go home. This private area. I'm calling the police. So the comedian, and he's just telling her, like, go back inside. It's okay. So they bring me up. I'm going up on stage. And I address what's going on. I say, hey, this is what happens when you gentrify Harlem, because this show was in Harlem. So all the comedians start laughing and stuff like that. You gentrify Harlem. We go back and forth, and it's not really a thing. It's just like making fun of her. I'm just like, where's your husband at? How's he letting you hang outside of a balcony at 11 o'clock at night? What is he doing? And then she goes, what? What? Not what? So, and she's yelling out. What she's doing when I'm on set is she's yelling out positive things. So it's not really heckling because she's saying, you are so funny in an aggressive way. You are so funny. Ha, ha, ha. That was funny. I was like, thank you. This is very supportive. Thank you so much. And when a person's being belligerent, I've dealt with a lot of people. I've diffused situations. When you're dealing with a police officer, you're dealing with anyone else, the best thing to do is accept whatever they're saying and keep moving forward because eventually they'll be quiet because you're not battling them. You're just saying, okay, I agree with you. I am great. I am funny, right? So I was like, so I threw a little jab. I was like, it's like listening to Ricky Lake, right? When you want to get your opinion out and then you just keep cutting because we're just not giving her the opportunity to disrupt the show anymore because the show's rolling. I got the people's attention. We can keep pushing through the jokes because there's some people still there. Correct? So all of a sudden, I was like, it must suck, being older and hearing black voices because I know you remember when we black people couldn't have opinions. And then she just leaves. She leaves. It's over. So everyone's having a good show. And what happens is she's 2 buildings away. So she walks outside, and there's a comedian supposed to do the door. Now, that's what I said when you're doing comedy shows. And if is this your first comedy show, there's certain things that you would do, but it's their second show. So they don't know. They're going to learn. They'll probably get better. But the dude doing the door just lets her inside, right? And his job at the door is to do a temperature check. He doesn't do a temperature check. He just lets her in. And the reason why I didn't want to post audio of it, because there's too many comedians in the room. When there's too many comedians in the room, no one knows how to take themselves off of being a comedian and understand what's happening now, right? So there's some comedians, Alex, he's just recording, other comedians are just kind of like clout chasing a little bit. You're trying to, instead of diffusing the situation, you're making it worse because you're yelling at a person who's deranged. And when a person is deranged, the worst thing you can do to a person is to make it worse by telling them to shut up or to like get in front of their face, right? Because people just want to yell, they can yell. I I've been around several kids that have thrown several chairs at me. It never hits me. When people are upset and they're throwing a chair, they're throwing it to let you know that I'm upset. They're not going to do it. I didn't even flinch because I know if you're going to throw a chair, you would have got a whole lot closer. You 99 years old throwing a chair with your with your weak arms. So what made her throw the chair was what made her throw the chair. So the lady who threw the chair at me, what made her throw the chair was she's upset. You know, comedians are trying to tell her to be quiet. So Alex goes, yo, just let Jared handle it. Let Jared handle it. And he knows what he's doing. Clearly, I've been in worse situations than this. I'm not scared of an old woman in pajamas trying to hurt me because she's never going to do that. So she goes, I'm going to sit on the show. I sit down because I'm not black. I said, what'd you say to me? She goes, every night I cannot go to sleep because you are here every night making noise. I was like, girl, this is the first time I was here. And then here comes comedians trying to add on, but I got it. I don't need any assist, you know. So I try to go to sleep, but I can't because of you. Because you are up every night making me not sleep. So I'm going to sit here. I'm going to sit there. F you. F you. So I'm like, all right. So now I got her inside the show. So now it's like that. So that's not going to be a battle. I have the microphone, so I have control. And she goes, you called me Blake, and I'm not Blake. I'm white. I said, no, you are black. So now I know the game is what's upsetting you is you're black. I am not black. I'm white. I said, no, you are blackity black. You are black. Look at me. Kunta Kinte. You are black. I am not black. I am white. I was like, no, you are black. So she takes a chair and throws it. But if you're going to throw a chair, you would get close to me. You throwing a chair from my, it's you old. You can't throw a chair that far. So I was like, oh, all right, with those ugly shoes. And I was like, you should try throwing the black chair. So she goes and gets the black chair and tries to throw it at me. But Alex and everyone steps in. And that's pretty much it, you know? She was like, clearly she's deranged, she's drunk. It's not a big deal. For other people, it seems like a big deal because some comics would freak out on stage. But the best thing to do is to keep your composure. If you keep your composure, they're going to start realizing, like, I'm the deranged one. No, I seem crazy. But when there's a lot of people talking back to her, when you hear a lot of voices, you don't seem that crazy because now you're in engagement with other people. So I'll play a clip because I got the footage. Everyone who else posted footage doesn't have the right footage. I posted the footage. Here we go right here. Hold on, let me turn it on.
Let him handle it. Let him handle it.
Let me tell you something. Ladies and gentlemen, I had a teacher that looked
Let him handle it.
you, right? A teacher that. So this is Alex Babbitt, like yelling at the other comedians, like let him handle it, like he knows what he's doing, right? So this is pretty much where it happens, where she throws the chair, and she's upset. But you know, it's just an average day in stand-up comedy, folks. It's not that big of a deal. But it was a good lesson for those young comedians. Sometimes you don't know who's in the room, and it's a dope show. I'm not gonna lie, it's a dope show. They give you free drinks, everything else. But to make the show better, and it's crazy now because a lot of comics are hitting me up like, oh, who books this show? Who books this show? And I was like, yeah, look, now you got more clout for your show now. But yeah, it's fine. I'm fine. Nobody's gonna throw a chair at me, like, for real. And to the people in the comments telling me to slam an old lady, like, relax. This isn't wrestling in the 90s. Like, you can't slam no old woman in this society. I mean, in general. I mean, it's still not cool at all. But I'm saying in wrestling, they used to just throw chicks through tables and stuff like that. And I'm definitely not down with that. So that was that. So as a community, we're a comedy community. I'm a part of the comedy community, so I'm talking to other comedians. So they're like, Jared, tell me about what happened. Why didn't you put sound? Why didn't you do that? And I was like, I didn't put sound because it's more interesting. There is no sound. I'm giving you it's like art. You create art so you can do it. Silent art. You could create your own narrative and think whatever you think happens, you know? I'm the only one that knows. I was there. So, and the comics are hitting me up. What did you say? What did you say? I'm trying to figure out what you said. I need the thing. So clearly, if I'm not posting the sound, other comedians should not post the sound because I don't want it with sound. Like, you're taking my videos and doing that. Like, no one needs your input on this. I got it. Just cut the sound. It's better. Like, you're creating a narrative. Let people know this is how you handle it. And it's just too many comedians talking in the video. You know, like, I don't need help on stage at all. I've never needed help on stage for anything. So that was Friday night. That was Saturday night. Sunday night I had 2 shows, and it's cool because now I'm meeting comics like, yo, how did you do this show? So Sunday night, Sunday, we're shooting a documentary. We're still recording the documentary, and it's really good. We're getting great footage. I got my man Julio, Stefan, and Jared inside there, and we're talking about, what's it like stand up in the pandemic. And I think I'm gonna wrap up. Okay, I'm just reading some emails. Did you go? Okay, yes, I did go to the Tiny Cupboard. I did the Tiny Cupboard at 7:30, and then I did it at 10:30, and I watched the Los Angeles Lakers win the championship, folks. I'm gonna be honest. I do think this is a prediction. That might be a wild prediction. I think LeBron James might three-peat. I think he might three-peat. I think the Lakers, if they keep Rajon Rondo and they keep all these big 7-footers, I think they can do it. Defense and just rebound, they could three-peat. I think they're going to win the second championship next year. And when LeBron James' son gets in the NBA, the Lakers are going to draft him or trade the draft from LeBron and the son wins a championship together. That's how LeBron leads the NBA. That's how he does it. He has 3, maybe 4 seasons left, and he's done. He's not going to be playing like that at 41. Actually, we don't know. He probably can play like that at 41. Jordan was kind of old when he was playing. But that was it. Congratulations to the Los Angeles Lakers. To everyone emailing me about One Tree Hill, I'm about to shoot an episode of that. I actually had it, but, death and all this other stuff has happened in my family. So we're back on it. We're going to be back on it. Next week, we're going to be shooting the documentary again, so please email me. Keep emailing me. Also, Wednesday, we're dropping the interview episode on Wednesday instead of Tuesday because today is Indigenous Day, and it's a holiday for the people. But shout out to all the raging Karens out there. I appreciate it. You guys make stand-up a whole lot better. This Wednesday, we'll be in Astoria Park at 7 o'clock by the pools. Have a wonderful day wherever you are in this world. G-Double, take us out with that theme song music, big dog.
Hey, you're live on the podcast, One Man, One Tree in the Hill. Say what up to the people. Now, this is when I see black excellence. It's Kenan Thompson, and I see this giant butt. I'm like, oh, who is that? Turns out that's Questlove. It's Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock, Eddie Murphy. And they're all sitting at the table, and I walk up to Eddie Murphy, and I was like, hey, Mr. Murphy, I just want to say you're the GOAT, man. You're the coldest that ever walked the face of the earth. You gotta break that thing over. She wants it private, but y'all not even together right now.
So we haven't spoken about anything but the cat for at least 2 months.
And I said, and I'm be the next Jamar Neighbors. Yeah. And she was up like, I know that's
right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to the podcast. My name is Jared Waters, and I'll catch you next time. Like, subscribe, rate the podcast. Have a wonderful night, wonderful day, whatever you're listening to. I'll see you soon.